What is up, everybody, and welcome to another live episode of Catching Up with Cody podcast. I'm your host, as always, Cody. We got another Monday night sports talk. Gonna lean more toward the NBA again, as I'm a huge basketball fan. Obviously, the NHL playoffs as well are going on, but this episode we're gonna focus more on the NBA again. We have our first series that is a sweep. So we have our first Eastern Conference team. That would be the New York Knicks defeating the 76ers 4-0. What a uneventful series this one was. Obviously, it was a shock that Boston lost to the 76ers. And then for the 76ers to just completely get, you know, honestly, just demolished by the New York Knicks. It's pretty much a tale of two teams for the Philadelphia 76ers. So let's kind of break that one down first and kind of see if what really happened in that series. So, I've written down the first thing here is get the brooms out because that's what that was. I mean, they just swept the 76ers right under the rug and pretty much tossed them out. So, Joel Embiid did play a little bit. So I was kind of shocked that they didn't at least win one game. But, when Embiid's not healthy, there's unfortunately nobody else on that team that can, step up and be that next man up mentality type deal. So hopefully they can figure that out going into the offseason. I know there was a lot of talk of Joel Embiid possibly being traded. So we will see what comes into play here in the offseason for that Philadelphia team. The Knicks averaged 124 points per game in this series, which obviously as a defense, it's like, are you even on the court at this point? Like, how do you give up 124 points on average only in 4 games? I mean, I could kind of see if that was maybe, 5, 6, or 7 games, maybe. But to only, I don't know, to give up that low of or that many points in such a low series is kind of crazy. So hopefully, hopefully Detroit can get into the next round and not give up that many points to them, but it's going to be tough. Joel Embiid again was hurt, so that, like I said before, does not help the team at all when their star player is injured going into the series. Obviously, he hasn't been healthy since he came into the league, so it's been up and down for Joel Embiid and unfortunately the 76ers, but they were swept this first series. So I guess that kind of goes into the question I want to ask you guys is it time to rebuild? They keep saying the process, trust the process, but the process has been going on long enough and they tried building around Joel Embiid. Obviously, you can see that that's not working. Obviously, they beat Boston in a shock, but couldn't do it against New York. Is it time to part ways with Joel Embiid? Is it time to build around your Tyrese Maxeys and all these young guys that are coming up? I mean, did they trust the process long enough? And now it's time that Joel Embiid to be in a different jersey. So I would kind of want to know what your guys' opinions and stuff of that is, whether Embiid should be traded or if they should still continue to trust the process in the near future. So comment below what you guys feel they should do, either part ways or if they should keep trusting the process. How many more years can you trust this process? It's like I said, they've been trusting the process since Joel Embiid's been in the league, and they're not showing any signs of improvement at all. Next thing I have here, which I kind of talked about when we first started, was this is what I was worried about. I was worried about the 4-0 sweep. I was worried about, New York getting a break and us still having to play a couple games. The Detroit Pistons are currently playing as I'm talking here live. We are up 2-1. I should actually pull up the score here real quick and see how they are doing. Let's see. All right. So currently with 3 minutes left, they are up by 1, 42-41. We need to get out of the series, and we need to get out of it quick. We need to win this game tonight, and we need to come back home and win that one because I know, we had that long break going into round 1, and obviously we saw what happened with Orlando. But New York is a tough team, and if New York has a couple games off, which they do now, they have until we or the Cleveland wins the series. It's going to be tough. They're going to get healthy. They're going to be rested. So we need to get out of this series by the end of this week and get a couple days off. I believe if we get out of it, I think we get like 2 or 3 days off in between before the Eastern Conference Finals. So they need to win. They can't play how they did the other night. I unfortunately have not been able to watch the game lately for this game tonight. Some stuff going on. So, but yeah, they need to figure it out. They've been playing good the first couple of games, but now it's time to figure it out. So, and before I go into the next one, I was supposed to be on with a guest. Unfortunately, like you guys saw, it was supposed to be Cade. Unfortunately, he had some personal things come on through. So hopefully we can get him on, later in the series. I got some other guests lined up, so I'm excited for that one. But yeah, that's why it is just the solo episode again today. But again, just wanted to kind of say thank you guys for tuning in. And as you can see, I got the QR code up in the top corner. If you could scan that, give me a like, follow, subscribe, and also where you can find me at as well on the bottom here. That's going across the screen. So I just wanted to throw that out there real quick, and let's move into our next round, which is the Detroit Pistons and the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, like we were talking about, 2-1 series, currently playing tonight. Yeah, we games 1 and 2, Detroit looked good. We looked good. I honestly thought we were going to be, I thought it was going to be a clean sweep. Everybody was doing what they're supposed to do. Obviously, Cade's been doing what he's obviously doing what he's supposed to be doing since the first series against Orlando. Now we need Jalen Duren. Tobias has stepped up. People are finally stepping up, and this is what we need. And obviously, it shows in those first couple games of game 1 and 2 that we were able to pull out the win. It made me feel a lot better about this Pistons team and going forward, now looking at the Eastern Conference Finals where one half of the teams are in with the New York Knicks. Tobias Harris and Cade are carrying. Yes, that is for sure. And honestly, in the first series, if you told me that Tobias would be carrying later in the series / next round, I would have said you were crazy. But hey, Unk has stepped up. The old man he can still hoop. He's still got it in him. So, but game 3 was a different story. We had turnovers. We could not. Let's talk about turnovers here for a second. Like turnovers, I've been seeing it from multiple players. Like when they get stuck and like not even double team, it's just like a one-on-one defense. We're just throwing the ball in the air and hoping that one of our guys can catch it. We need to start surveying the court. We need to start realizing you got to look where you're passing the ball. You can't just throw the ball any which way and not expect it to be a turnover. So we've cleaned those up. Game 3, we had a little bit more, but game 3, like I have written down here, like we played like we did in Orlando, and that's not what we as a Detroit fan, that's not what we want to see. We don't want to take steps backwards. We only want to go forward. Play like games 1 and 2. We'll get out of the series. We'll get to play New York, and we'll go from there. But you cannot play how you played like you did Orlando, and that's what we showed in game 3, and that is not good. I knew we were going to drop one game on the road. It's always tough, obviously to sweep a team, and it's always tough to win on the road. Was hoping that game 3 was not going to be. I was kind of hoping tonight's game would have been the game that we drop, because I'd feel a little bit better if we were up 3-1. But if we can get out of here, we'll still be up 3-1. We need to go back to Detroit. home court advantage is not a thing for Detroit. For whatever reason, Detroit struggles winning at home in the playoffs. We saw that last year against New York. We saw it in Orlando. We struggle at home. So I can't even say us going up 3-1, like coming home to Detroit, is going to be an easy win, because that is not going to be. James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, the whole Cleveland team is going to come out and they're going to put up a fight. They've already put up a fight, and they're not going to go down they're not going to go down easy. So we need to play like we did games 1 and 2 tonight, finish them off, and then get to Detroit and play that exact same way, close it out, and get to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's what I'm hoping for. Duncan Robinson has finally shown up for the Pistons. He can't play defense. He's a great player. Like I said, don't get me wrong. I'm a Michigan fan. Loved when Duncan played there. But what's up, Kendra? Don't get me wrong. Huge Michigan fan. Love Duncan Robinson. He has not been playing for what reason we brought him in, and that's to hit threes. The last couple games, he's been hitting threes. He's been, catch and shoot right in that corner and doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing. So he needs to do that. And, even tonight, I got to look at stats and everything, but keep shooting those threes. Like, that's what we brought you in to do, is to shoot 3-pointers and get us to that next round. That's all you got to do. Thank you. Thank you for the support. So, yeah, I guess, we got some people in here. Put in the comments, how many games do you guys think that this Pistons-Cleveland series is going to go? Like I said, Pistons are currently up 2-1 in the series, with Game 3 currently playing as we speak. And then I want to talk about we're still on the Detroit Pistons thing here. Duncan can't keep anything in front of him. He couldn't 5 minutes from Miami to play. Yes, and honestly, it's kind of funny you bring that up. I was just talking to somebody that said, regular season Duncan Robinson is good, but he didn't show up in the playoffs for Miami, and I'm kind of seeing that now with Detroit. Like, regular season he was decent. I'm not going to say he was good. He wasn't the star that he was, but he wasn't bad. But yeah, the playoffs so far, he has been irrelevant, and it's kind of sad. It's tough because if Duncan's not playing, we sat Ron Holland first series. Paul Reed hasn't really played. So you go down the list and you're already losing 5 or 6 people. We can't win a game with just 5 guys on the court. It's a team effort. Jalen Duren, this is one I want to sit and talk about here for a second. Game 3, 11 points, 4 rebounds. This guy wants a max contract, and he puts up 11 and 4 in the playoffs. That ain't going to work. I don't think we should give him the max contract. I think we should let him walk, as unfortunate as that is. But yeah, he is great player in the regular season. Playoffs, nothing. It's kind of like Duncan Robinson. He was there in the playoff, or there in the regular season. Playoffs, you can't find him. So yeah, he can't really shoot threes. That's why I'm saying, like, we keep Isaiah Stewart. He can shoot threes. Yes, no, I completely agree. We should not be paying him the max deal. Give him a contract, see if he takes it. But max contract is not for him. He's not. Regular season, I would definitely give him max contract. Playoff Jalen Duren, no max contract. And it's sad because he's a good player, young. He obviously he can body everybody in the paint and everything like that. But like alley-oops, pick and roll, that's really all he can do. And in the playoffs, it's different. He can't just win games on a pick and roll. So, but the person that has stepped up, obviously he's not going to get a max contract, but we talked about him earlier, was Tobias Harris. I would pay him a little bit more. I believe his contract's up at the end of this year. So maybe take some of that max contract money that you were going to give Jalen and put it into Tobias Harris, because he is that veteran player that we do need in the locker room, which will help these young guys, because as we get further into the playoffs, he's been in playoffs before. he's been in the league long enough that he knows what's going on and everything like that, and he has that playoff experience. So I say we keep him, bring him back, definitely for sure. And last but not least, the MVP of this team, Cade Cunningham. He had a triple-double the other night. I mean, there's a lot of people have been talking about, like, Cade needs to step up more. Cade needs to do this. Cade's been averaging like 32 or 31, 32 points per game in this playoffs. There's not much more that this guy can do. He does need help. Does he have, turnovers that he needs to just throw away? He needs to do better on, I should say. Of course. But when you're getting double teamed at half court every night, I mean, we are, 9 games into the next, this will be game number 10. We're 9 games into this playoffs. That's tiring to get double teamed every night almost, and at half court. I mean, he's exhausted and he can't do much more. I mean, he's playing like an MVP, and I'm so happy that he's on the team, and he's really the reason where we are today. Honestly, I mean, he's been through that tough, the stretch of us losing all the time and the worst record ever and blah 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 blah. So finally to see what he's been doing, and it's finally flourishing, and the team around him is flourishing as well. It's good to see. I'm excited to see. So, but enough about the Detroit Pistons here. Let's move on to the next series. Let's talk about the Thunder and Lakers, because that game's on tonight, right after the Pistons. Get your brooms out for this one. It is going to be a sweep tonight. Probably not going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Lakers are going to, probably have their little get together with the referees after the game and try to figure out why there was no calls. But I don't want to talk too much about this series. But the one thing I was a little upset about was, and this goes to what I was just saying, is when they were all huddling, talking to the refs after the game. Like, first off, the game's over. You're not going to be able to change anything. Second of all, just stop. You're grown men. Stop crying. And third, like, you have LeBron. You have Austin Reeves. Yes, I know Luka's hurt, but you also have Luka in the regular season, so he could have boosted you up to get to a higher seed and everything like that. Don't know what else these Lakers want. I did see highlights from game 2, I believe it was. Yes, obviously the calls did not go well for the Lakers. Yes, I believe Oklahoma City Thunder does get a little help with the NBA. But unfortunately, on the flip side, LeBron has to realize that what's going on in OKC is what happened to him. Like, he got those calls. He, was favored here and there. Great player, but you're on the other side of the coin now, man. Like, tough to say it, but yeah, this series is not going to be. It'll be over by halftime. So looks like the Thunder probably will make it to the Western Conference Finals. Now their opponent, this series is going to be good. I watched a little bit of the game last night. First off, Wemby got ejected in the second quarter. I still think it was a little, I've been seeing it's, the controversy and stuff. The dude's like 7'5". I mean, he's going to get hit and everything. So obviously, eventually that bothers you, just getting hit all the time from every which way. Wasn't necessary for him to throw the elbow. Probably not. But in a playoff, stakes are high. I don't think he intentionally meant to do that. I think he should have stayed in the game, or at least get a flagrant 1. But that kind of changed the narrative of the game. So, like I said, this is probably the best series out of all of them. They've all been close games. Like game 1, 104-102 Minnesota. Game 2 with Spurs was 133-95, so that was kind of a blowout there. But then it was Spurs 115, Wolves 105, Minnesota Timberwolves 114, Spurs 109 last night. Other than the one game, all these games have been close. I think these two teams are well matched. Anthony Edwards is just insane. I saw that during like the timeouts and the breaks, he had to go into the hallway locker room area to get oxygen because he was just so tired. Again, he's like the Kate Cunningham of that team. He pretty much carries them. And I mean, you can see it. Like I said, I mean, what player do you know has to get oxygen all the time just because of how hard he's playing? Like, this guy's putting his body on the line for this team to push through to get to that next round. Wemby, obviously, if he was in, that may have changed the game or at least made it a little closer. But yeah, I love to see this matchup. This matchup would be awesome if it was even a Western Conference Finals. So super excited to see how the rest of that series goes as well. But yeah, I mean, we're getting closer and closer to the NBA Finals here, and it's crazy, where we're at this stage of the season. So, I think I'm gonna do this a little bit more as far as more basketball talk for the most part until the season is over, and then kind of move into doing all sorts of sports. So, if you guys are interested in joining, coming on and everything, message me. Like I said, scan that QR code, and just send me a DM if you guys want to be on the show. Every Monday night at 9 p.m. Like I said, here's my links here and at the QR code. But yeah, like I said, I'm a big sports guy, and with basketball, obviously, that's the number one playoff I've been watching. I have unfortunately not been watching hockey as much, but kind of, I know this was a short episode, but kind of before we end it, kind of want to talk a little bit about the Detroit Tigers and the stuff going on with them with Tarek Skubal and all of our pitchers and the suspension and everything. They're like this. They're like up and down, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they need to. Oh, hold on. Let's move back to basketball real quick with this comment here. I don't know how Wemby didn't get suspended. Amazes me. The elbow was brutal. The NBA did not want Wemby in Detroit. Yeah, I mean, I think if it was regular season, I think he would have been suspended. But like I said, I think this is one of the best series this round. So I think that plays a factor. It's his first offense, his first time getting ejected. It's honestly, I think it's only like his first or second time even getting a flagrant foul. So, that kind of factors in it too. Brett, I know you're a big Draymond Green fan. So I think if it was Draymond, obviously he's getting suspended. But Wemby, I think it's kind of like just a first time offense. Like, hey, we can't do that. So, but yeah, definitely if it was regular season, I think he would have got a 1-game suspension. But because it is the playoffs, I don't think that is why I think that's why he didn't get suspended. So, but yeah, for those that are still in here, give me, if you guys follow basketball at all, what is your favorite series currently going on so far? Obviously, as a Detroit fan, outside of the Detroit series, like I said, the Minnesota and San Antonio game is probably my favorite. I've been going back and forth, do I go to the Eastern Conference Finals if we make it there, or do I go to the NBA Finals? I'm still torn. I'm also debating if I go to the game on Wednesday. Sorry, got all my days mixed up. They're all like the same at this point. But we'll see. So, but yeah, kind of let's like I was saying, let's go to the Tigers before I end this episode here. Yeah, they're up and down. They are, let me pull up the standings here. I believe last time I looked, they were 19-22, I believe it was. Yes, 19-22, third in the Central Division. I have no idea what's going on with these guys. They 4-6 in the last 10 games. That is definitely not good. Obviously, a lot of you saw we lost Tarek Skubal to an elbow injury. 1.5 out of the 1.5 out of Central. Yeah, I mean, I saw somewhere that like I think it was 97-1, I believe, was talking about like how bad the Central Division is. So like if we get out of the Central, it's not really anything to be excited about because they are a terrible division. I haven't been able to get to a game yet. I think there's 2 of them that I'm planning to go. One with my dad and one for my bachelor party. So I'm excited for both of those games. But yeah, I mean, we lose Tarek Skubal. Justin Verlander got injured, and I haven't heard his name since. Our other pitcher just got suspended for 6 games. So, I mean, that's 3 starting pitchers that were down already. And big name players, too. It's not like they're just, your no-name starting pitchers. So, that also worries me going into this, stretch before All-Star break. Looks like we have the New York Mets next, who are bad. Once this is the problem is once basketball season's over, like now that Detroit's getting farther and farther in, I used to watch baseball all the time, and now I'm kind of like pushing it back, obviously, because of the Pistons. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that this was supposed to be a good year for us. I mean, I think it was World Series or bust for us this year, and I still think it is, but I don't know if we're even going to make playoffs. So there's been a lot of injuries. Actually, I just saw too that Kerry Carpenter was injured too. Let me see if I can pull up here the injuries. All right, so we have, yes, Justin Verlander, like I talked about, Tarek Skubal, a whole bunch of pitchers. Will Vest, Melton, Casey Mize, Jackson Jobe still out, Reese Olson, Parker Meadows still out from that horrible injury the other day, a couple weeks ago. Gleyber Torres, Javi Baez, Trey Sweeney, Kerry Carpenter. I mean, who's even left on this team? We're going to have to call people up from AAA. So, yeah, I mean, 60-day DL, day-to-day, 10-day, 10-day. I mean, a couple guys are on 60-day DL. So these aren't like a couple of them. I mean, obviously there's 1 or 2, the 10 days, but everybody else is a long-term injury. So that's a little scary to see. It's not like we're up at the top and, we have a little bit of wiggle room. Now we're not doing very well. So I think they'll win the division, just need pitchers back. Yes, I agree that we do need the pitchers back. But again, like I was showing you, was saying that these are long injuries. I mean, Justin Verlander's older, so it's going to take him still a little while to get back from that hip injury. Tarek Skubal's a different story. If you guys watch me on the Sports Reel podcast, I think he knew about this. But that's a conversation for another day. Offense, yes. And this was the problem that we said going into the season, is that we need some bats to hit. So that's what we still need now. Riley Green's holding the team together, and he can't do it on his own. Yeah, literally Riley Green is holding the team together, and he's pretty much the only player that's not hurt that is a known player. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we make this team better. I was watching a podcast the other day that they were talking about, the previous owner, Illich, when he had the team, he spent money because he wanted to win. Now the kids have it and they don't want to spend money, but they want to win. Like, it's with anything. You gotta spend money to make money. I mean, that's like what I say with this podcast all the time. I gotta spend money to make money. So hopefully the Tigers can figure it out. I think they're probably the last, well, second to last. The Red Wings they'll probably be the last team to actually make it anywhere in Detroit. But we will see. But just kind of wanted to get on here. Like I said, I was supposed to have a guest. Unfortunately, some personal things came up, so did a solo one. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to do this every Monday night. Memorial Day is coming up here in a couple weeks, so I'm still kind of working on that one. I might take a break on that Monday. Just a couple, announcements going on. Like I said, give me a follow. Links are at the bottom where you can catch me on social media. Also, scan that QR code in the top right corner and follow me, share out everything. I will be on the Sports Real podcast coming up May 19th. That is next Tuesday in the studio again. So please check that out as well. And we're going to be having some awesome guests coming on in the future. Let me pull up here my next guest for next week's episode. Next week, we have Kevin. I had him on a podcast episode once before. He is a mutual friend of mine, big sports guy. So I'm excited to have him on next week. It's going to be good. Like I said, if anybody is interested, sports fans wise or not sports fans, either way, message me at my social medias if you guys would like to join the Monday night talks. Like I said, right now we're just going to do NBA talks, a little bit of other sports outside of it, but mostly NBA just because of the playoffs going on. But I am up to talking any sports. So, like I said, it was kind of a short episode. A couple things happened in between there. But again, thank you guys for catching up with Cody. Check out the QR code, the links below. And every Monday night, 9 p.m. on YouTube, we are live and chatting it up and talking sports. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate everybody that supported me. Appreciate the comments. The comments definitely help the flow of the channel and the show as well. So thank you guys so much, and thank you guys for catching up with Cody. Peace.